In this tutorial, we're going to cover how to set up a Google Slides presentation to a 4K resolution so that you can use this presentation in the digital crit room 115. Okay, so once again, if you can recall, we'll need to go and set up our slides to the correct size. Okay, and then what you need to consider with this is that there are certain limitations with regards to Google Slides, that you can only insert an image size of pixels 1600 by 1600 pixels. Okay, so how do we go about exporting our Photoshop or GIMP images and cutting them up so that we can use them in Google Slides? Okay, just remember, this does not apply if you're actually setting up your presentation in Google Slides. Just remember, you will have a limitation of image size. So let's start a blank presentation. Okay, so the first thing you need to go and do is go and set up your page. Okay, so go page setup. Here you can simply just go to custom. Here we can change this to pixels. Okay, now we can just simply go and insert those. So it is, go back to our first slide. It's 3840 by 2160. Apply. Now if we go to page setup manager, if you go back to page setup, you'll notice that it's defaulted back to centimeters, but if we double check those settings, you'll notice they're exactly the same. Okay, great. Press apply. Now I'm going to start two slides. The first slide, I'm going to simply go and this new slide. Okay, so this is our first slide, this is our second slide. So this is where this has a limitation. If I go and say upload photo from my computer, and I'll go to my digital crit room and I'll grab the image I created from GIMP or Photoshop, doesn't matter. If I open this image and now I'll go insert this image, you'll notice now that it would have restricted. You can also change the image size as well, but you would have noticed that this would have downscaled this image. Okay, so if we zoom into this image now using the zoom icon, you'll notice that it is very pixelated, just because the image that we've inserted as a PDF when you're setting up, because this is larger than that required pixel ratio. We're going to cover how you would go about slicing up your Photoshop image or presentation so that you can then embed the pieces or the cuts into Google Slides. Okay, so straightforward. Just make sure that you flatten your image. So flatten the image. Okay, then you can just simply make layer from background. Okay, then what you need to do is you need to select the layer itself, and you'll need to go and slice the layer. Okay, so you need to slice this up. Whereas in GIMP you use guides to slice, this has got a tool to actually do that for you. Okay, so you're going to go and find the slice tool, and you're going to go and say size select tool. So with the image selected, you're going to switch off show auto slice, and you'll need to divide. Okay, so select the image, and so once you've selected the image that you want to slice, you're going to go and say, you can say hide auto slice, it's up to you. You can, doesn't matter. So select the image, and here what you need to do is you'll need to use the divide option. So here I've clicked on divide, so here I'm going to tell it to divide. So here we just need to show, so horizontally we're going to divide it 2 times, and you'll see it starts bringing in a slice, and then vertically 3 times. Now you'll see that it will slice this image up for us, just like this. Okay, so now once it's sliced our image up, okay, you'll notice that going forward it's going to have these icons. Now we're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Save to Web. Okay, using the Save to Web function, okay, you're going to use Optimize. Here you don't have to use a present. Here I'm going to use a JPEG. I'm going to change the quality to 100, and I'll leave everything just like this. Okay, you can go and find a folder. What this will do, it will actually save this into a folder for you, so you can simply just say Photoshop, and you're going to press save. Okay, and then once it's done, you just name pick the location where it needs to be saved. And now if I go to my desktop, it will make a folder. And if I open up this folder, you'll notice here are all of these images. Again, this will number them all correctly already. Okay, we've got JPEGs and PNGs in here. I can get rid of the PNG files. I don't need the PNG files. I actually just want to use the JPEG files. Okay, so there were some additional ones that I'd made earlier. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, great. What you need to do, this applies to Photoshop as well. You'll need to go and cut this image up into portions. And ideally for this type of ratio, for 4K resolution, the best way to cut these up will be as follows. You'll need to go to the image layer and you need to go and add guides. And we're going to use new guide by %. So horizontal, we're going to leave that 50 and you'll see that it'll put a guide across the page. Okay. Next thing we'll need to do is go to image again. And here we'll need to go to guide and we're going to go guide by %, and this time vertical. Okay. Here we're going to go and type in 33.33. So that's going to be 1. You're going to insert one more. You can also use pixels as well. That's totally up to you. Okay, but percentages I find is the best way. 66.66. Okay, press OK. So what this will do now is we'll export this image. Before we export this image, we will need to flatten this image. So you're going to go and select everything and you're going to say flatten image. It makes it one image. Okay? All right. Now that I've got one image, okay. The next thing that we're going to do now is we're going to go to filters, we're going to go to web, and here we're going to go to slice. It uses the guidelines to slice this by. Here you can pick JPEG or PNG, totally up to you. I'm just going to use JPEG for this. And I'm going to put this on my desktop. For now, I'm going to press OK. All right. So what this will do, it's automatically going to save all of these on my desktop for me. So what it does is it will export all of these images in a proper sequence. So 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 1. So just remember that is lock the aspect ratio, Control C. So every image that we bring in, so important. And it was easy that I made that mistake. So just be very careful. Make sure that that value is always the same. So every time you bring an image, just remember, lock that aspect ratio. That's better. There you go. And that one will be. Okay, now if we go and look at our presentation again, okay, and if we zoom in, you'll notice that this image is very nice and crisp compared to that image. Okay, so that's night and day. There you can clearly see the difference. Okay, so you can see this is nice and crisp. If you go to this image above, if I zoom into this image, you'll notice how fuzzy it is. If we go back to this image, it is a remarkable difference. Okay, so remember, cutting your images up to the correct size. Okay. Then when you're ready to present your presentation, you simply say present. You can go to the bottom here. Now you can go and say, you can set up the autoplay. You can switch on loop every 5 seconds and you can simply play. You can start playing this presentation. Okay, and it will just start looping on its own. And at any point, you can also use the turn on the